July. You like it?
It's done live, so it's probably recording everything.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
We're live. Woo. Coming at you a minute early here.
What's up? What's up?
Just want to make sure that our element and our Wi-Fi, we're in a little bit of a different place. So no technical difficulties. That's the worst. That's the worst. So we're gonna give people a minute here to sign on, and then we're going to be talking about. Oh, the volume's on. Oh, it's my phone. We're going to be talking about the advice that college coaches are giving high school student athletes and their parents. So all this information was gathered by us to give to you guys, so you stay more informed throughout your recruiting process. As always, it's our number one priority. So
it's all about.
So it's all about.
It's all about.
All right. So I'm Keirsten.
And I'm Nick.
And as I mentioned earlier, we are here to talk to you about college coach advice for your recruiting process. And we got advice from Brown University, Minnesota, Williams, Bryant,
Florida Tech,
a couple other schools too. Yeah. So we're going to be going through those. We're here at Golf and Body today in New York City.
Great spot.
Yep, nice enough to host us. We got the I Love New York gifts that you can see there. Nothing like New York, or nothing says New York like a nice little gift shop. So, why don't we get started? So, we're basically going to read a quote from a college coach and kind of break it down after that so you guys can understand why the coach may be suggesting the thing that they're suggesting, if it's sport specific, if it applies to every single sport or division, and so on and so forth. So, if you have questions throughout, we have our phones on us, so we'll be able to check. So please feel free to ask questions and do whatever else you may need to do. So the first piece of advice we have here is from Columbia softball coach Jennifer Teague, and it's on the most important qualities that she looks for in a recruit. And she said, I love it because it's short and to the point, talent, effort, attitude, ability to get better, teachability, and good parents. And it's funny how she mentions the parents because more than often the parents are getting too involved in the recruiting process, and a college coach that's not something that they want to see. The parent is not going to be on the team, the student athlete is, so they want to get to have that personal relationship with the athlete. I'll let you speak on that for a second.
Yeah, so kind of going off of that, we had another interview with the Colby track and field coach, Dave Cusano, and he kind of had a similar answer to a different question. We asked him just a general, what are the do's and don'ts of the recruiting process? Or what are the do's and don'ts for a recruit when they're being recruited? And one of the don'ts, he said, we shouldn't have to email or call via your folks. It's okay if they want to speak on a given day, but they're not the ones who will be on my team. So kind of going off the response of Jennifer Teague, coaches really want to foster the relationship with the recruit. Obviously they know that parents play a huge part of the decision-making process, so they're willing to talk to them, they're willing to, answer their questions, but they really want to get to know you. They want to get to know the player that they're going to coach for 4 years, hopefully build their program, and, it's really important to be able to show a coach that you're interested in them, that you want to build that relationship, so it's a good start moving forward.
I think teachability is also another good word on there that's super, super important. You don't want to go in thinking that you know everything or that you're going to be the best player on the team because you're competing with every person in the country that plays that sport, and it's a privilege to even be on the team. So be humble, make sure that you take advice from the coaches and from other teammates and whoever else it may be, and keep an open mind, and make sure that you work to be a teachable student athlete, because that's super important. You can't. That's something that is really important to have. Talent is obviously something that you can work on, but again, the teachability is a huge factor. And just so everyone knows, all of these quotes and all of these blogs are online on our website, on the blog. They're live right now. We've interviewed over 70 college coaches, and throughout the next couple months, they're going to be popping up. So feel free to check out the website as much as possible. It's a really, really great resource, and all of these interviews are actually way more in depth on the site, but we're taking what we think are the most important quotes for you guys, and like we said before, just breaking them down.
And with these interviews, they're all across the board. Like Keirsten said, we've already interviewed over 70 coaches with more on the way. They're from everything from men's sports to women's sports, Division I, Division II, Division III. We have a rugby coach's interview up there, a squash coach, and then we have, football, baseball, lacrosse. We try to cover every sport. So no matter what sport you're looking at, whatever sport you want to play in college, head to our site, go on our blog, and we'll have a college coach on that sport interview for you.
Sure. So I'll let Nick take over the next quote here. We'll move on to the next topic.
All right, so for Bryant men's lacrosse,
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, so it's actually me. Just kidding. So Bryant men's lacrosse, Mike Pressler. His thoughts on what are your expectations for incoming players in the classroom, weight room, and on the field? And his quote is, "We want student athletes that are self-motivating in all areas." Valid point. The less time we have to spend monitoring and pushing each individual, the more time we have to develop the team as a whole. Super, super important point right there. You should be able to motivate yourself to want to get better, to go spend extra time when you need to practicing so that the coach can focus on the most important things. Obviously, your coach is there to support you, and if you need the extra help, they're not going to turn you away. But be self-aware in the areas that you need to be self-aware in. So, do your schoolwork. Your coach doesn't want to be hounding you about your schoolwork or anything like that. Keep your social life, manageable. Respectful. You are representing your team, whatever team you're on, so make sure you're making good choices with that. My mom always used to say that to me, make good choices.
Yeah. It's true.
And also, in the weight room, a coach can't sit there and say, hey, go bench press X, Y, and Z. Well, they can say that to you, but, just take it upon yourself to be the person to make the first effort and kind of go after those things in order to make the team better and have the coach be able to do their job.
You don't want to be that player on the team that the coach always has to be worried about, that they're going to get their work done, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in training, or even the classroom. You just want to be able to, in that regard, you almost don't want to stand out in a negative way. So you just want to, the coach doesn't have to worry about you. You just get your stuff done, whether it's in practice, in individual training, in the classroom. No one wants to be that guy or that girl on the team that not only the coach has to worry about, but, the captains have to worry about, the teammates have to worry about. Just some great advice from Mike Pressler is you just got to be self-motivated. Coaches have a lot to worry about. They don't have to worry about that you get the basic things done on the field, in the classroom, in the weight room, etc.
For sure.
All right, and so now we interviewed Kathy Flores, the Brown University rugby coach.
Women's rugby.
Yes, women's rugby.
Yep.
And so we asked her about recruiting tapes, highlight tapes. A lot of coaches want to see some tapes during the recruiting process, regardless of the sport. Usually you'll put some film together. So we asked her what really jumps out when reviewing a recruit's highlighting tape, what are the do's and don'ts when making one.
And this is a little bit longer,
yeah,
but it's really important that you
really
try and listen to all
right.
aspects of it. So go ahead.
So yeah, she touched on a lot of points, as Keirsten mentioned. So her response was, while I'm interested in their skill level, I am more interested in the kind of teammate they are. Do they isolate themselves on the field and only work when the play is around them, or do they look to be involved at every instance, whether it's on offense or defense? I prefer to have a video of a match as opposed to a highlight tape, as most times the highlights show only the things they do well. I need to see how the athlete responds when things aren't going as well. If they have a missed tackle, knock the ball on, etc., which are rugby terms, of course, do they come back harder or do they stay in their own head? So basically, she wants to not only see the ups from highlight tape, but kind of the downs, because a coach can learn from, as I'm sure you know, a coach can learn a lot from a player where if things aren't going their way, if they don't have their best game or their best play, what do they do next? Do they compound it by continually making mistakes, or are they able to, brush it off, be a good teammate, help out in other areas of the game, and, move on?
Yeah, I think something important to note, too, is after doing all of these interviews with all the coaches about the highlight tapes, and I think you start to realize that every coach is going to expect something different. Every sport is going to be a little bit different. So the good thing, what we're trying to do is get to those coaches so you guys can, view on the site, hey, I'm really interested in playing golf at Middlebury. Here's exactly what the coach wants in my highlight tape. But I think the best course of action is create your highlight tape that's going to be no longer than 5 minutes, and also submit your best game, the entire film for your best game. Again, depending on the sport, football is going to be a little bit different, but a lot of the sports like rugby, she asked that she see full game film as well, and a couple other sports on here. So that's just something to consider. Or if you just have your highlight tape, maybe ask the coach if they want to see a full game film or anything else that you can provide them. Include the stats, everything like that. And in that first email when you're sending out to coaches, make sure you're including that highlight tape from the beginning so they can kind of get a sense of who you are, what type of player you are, to see if you'll be a good fit, and then there can be an honest exchange of whether you're the right fit or not for their team almost immediately.
Yeah, and if you don't know what the coach wants to see in a highlight tape, nothing wrong in asking. Some coaches want to see game film, some want to see practice film, some want to see a combination of both. And another thing that we kind of learned from all these interviews that we've done that are, again, up on our site on lockerroomtalk.com is they want to see you updated. So, when you first make contact with the coach, you send them the highlight film that you have up to that point, but they want to see, how you do from there. Have you gotten better at a certain aspect of your game? Did you have a really good game after that? So you want to continually update it with whatever the certain coaches want as you move along. So you don't want to just make one highlight film and be done with it. You want something that's an ongoing process.
Yeah, and then for individual sports, something like golf, you can't necessarily film your entire round, but a good thing about that is maybe you can show different swings that you have. I think it was the Middlebury men's golf coach or one of the golf coaches on the site specifically said he wanted to see putting, their short game, and so on and so forth. Maybe you can have it be filmed in the heat of competition, so it's not just practice swings. But again, that's something that you're going to have to reach out to the coach to discuss with him or her and kind of figure it out from there. But so next we're going to get to our favorite topic, social media, because everybody, I'm sure, obviously that's watching has social media. But I think at this day and age, basically everyone has social media, especially high school athletes, parents, whoever it may be. This is an extremely important aspect of college recruiting. A lot of schools are now requiring that you submit all of your social media before you get recruited there or while you're getting recruited there. That being said, this next quote is super important. It's from the FIT women's lacrosse coach, Corinne Desrosarius. I'm sorry if I pronounced that one wrong. So she said, I look at all social media I can find. If a player isn't posting things I would be proud of, I tend to stop recruiting them. Vulgarity, nudity, and drugs and alcohol are completely unacceptable for us at the collegiate level. So I can't imagine why a high schooler would feel confident in posting these things. My rule of thumb whenever I go to a seminar or talk to a recruit is if you don't want your grandma seeing it, you probably shouldn't be posting it. They are viewing your social media profile. It might not be every single day, but they're going to, one way or another, look at your posts. So definitely, even if it's on private, they'll find a way to find something. So definitely just keep that in mind. You're going to be Googled. You're going to be looked up on Instagram. You're going to be looked up on Facebook. So be respectful. Post things about you, not just you as a player, but things with your team, and just say how proud you are with your team in general, and just try to show that you're a leader and a team player. That's super important for college coaches to say. Yeah,
you don't want one stupid mistake, whether it's a tweet, a picture on Instagram, a Snapchat, that someone might record, ruin your opportunity to play at the college level. Or, there's this one tweet that has gone viral a lot that I really like. It's regarding Twitter, but it says, don't let a 140 character tweet ruin a $140,000 scholarship. So, you might think that one tweet, it doesn't mean anything, but there could be huge ramifications. And if it's in terms of loss of scholarship, that's a lot of money that, that you lost out on, that your family might now have to pay, or it just might mean that you can't then go to that school because whether you can't afford it now or the coach doesn't want you there. So, it's obviously like everyone has social media, everyone wants to post all the time, but sorry, we are in New York, so it looks like an ambulance is coming by, but it's something that seems so silly and so, social media is fun, it's light of heart, but, college coaches really take it seriously. It's a good way for them to tell the character of a player. If you're drinking underage, posting it on social media, that's sign of maybe not the best decision making, which a coach can then think maybe you're not right for his or her program. So it's just something that you have to keep in mind. It's not worth it. Just keep it to yourself, keep it to your friends. Don't post it on social media for the whole world to see.
Yeah, also on the other end of things, though, you can use social media to benefit your recruiting process. NCAA passed rules that college coaches are allowed to like, retweet, favor, and whatever. Yeah, whatever else it may be. They can't respond to you, so if you tweet at them, they will not be able to respond to, "Hey, good job, come to my school tomorrow," or whatever else it may be. But they are allowed to like something. So maybe if you tweet at a coach or a school's program or whatever else it may be, that's a good idea to get noticed. So I think that you can also use it to your benefit. It's not just a negative thing. You can you can be smart about it.
More and more coaches nowadays you see, especially at the big athletic programs, almost because they feel like they need to compete with one another. But even at the smaller Division III schools, I know at Skidmore, where Keirsten and I went, pretty much every sport that I could think of, they have their own Twitter page, let alone the Skidmore Athletics Twitter page. So, there's ways to communicate, and like Keirsten said, almost help yourselves with the recruiting process with social media rather than hurt yourself by posting something dumb, saying something stupid that you'll ultimately regret.
Yeah, and then also, I highly recommend following those teams that you're interested in, those accounts, because you'll get to interact with them on a daily basis almost. You can like their comments, you can like their pictures, and you also get a sense of who the team is. Are they volunteering? Are they doing a bowling night and posting about it? And what are the players like? So definitely I encourage people to follow the accounts of the teams that they're looking at, even just the school accounts in general. So you can get a sense of, you won't really know until you visit the school, but it just gives you a good sense of what the program is like and the coach and the teammates and everything else.
It's a good way to keep up with the coach, with the team, without maybe necessarily feeling like you're annoying them with an email every day or something like that. You just find a way to get to know the players and the team a little bit more without having to do too much, research on your own.
For sure.
All right, and so then we talked to the Minnesota baseball coach, John Anderson, and we asked him what advice he has for recruits that might get turned down from their dream school. What are their options if they don't get recruiting attention that they desire? So hopefully, again, we don't wish this upon anyone. Ideally, everyone gets into their dream school, plays for the coach they want, at the level that they want, but realistically, that's not going to happen. So you have to always have a backup plan. So what Coach Anderson said is sometimes it's just bad timing. They just might not have room for you. It's not always about if you're a good player or not. It's about the demand of your position. There is always more than one school that can fulfill your college experience needs. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your options because only a certain amount of players can play at that school. Recruits can help themselves by investigating what their real opportunity of playing there is. And so, like I said, this is a baseball coach, so he kind of went into a little bit of a baseball-specific answer in that there just might not be room at your position. So I know we've said this before on other videos. If you do play a sport that's based on positions, check the roster before you go there. See if you're a starting pitcher for baseball, keeping with the Minnesota baseball example, and you see that there's 5 starting pitchers on the Minnesota team or whatever team you're looking at that aren't graduating that year, so meaning they're going to come back your freshman year, and they already were starters, you got to realize, sure, you'll probably have an opportunity to compete with them, but odds are you won't be able to start, or you might have to work out of the bullpen for the first couple of years, or if, going on to soccer, if you're a goalie and there's 2 goalies ahead of you that are going to return next year, that's something you have to keep in mind. So if that is, a scenario at your dream school and a coach can't let you in because of a problem at position, don't take that as a knock against you. There's sometimes there's just not enough spots at a school, or if a coach needs to recruit a certain position that you don't play, maybe you're a slightly better player than the person that they recruit, but they just fit that team more. So you always just want to have a wide net, and if you do get turned down from your top school, your top coach, it's not the end of the world. There's so many other options out there. There's literally thousands of options out there. So as Coach Anderson said, diversify your portfolio almost at the schools you're looking at to spread your net as wide as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had another coach who did an interview with him and asked the same question, and he had a really great response, and it was, use early decision, early admission as
Right.
your top school or schools, depending on if you're early decision or early admission, because if you're early decision, you that's contractually binding to the school if you get in. So use that to kind of really force yourself and push your situation and really test the waters with maybe reach schools, and then early decision or early admission round 2. Go for the realistic schools where you know you're definitely going to get in or be recruited to or play or whatever else it may be. And then he said regular decision really shouldn't be in the mix. If you're late to the recruiting process and you're a late bloomer or whatever else it may be, I say use the
Right, of course,
regular
it's
decision.
case by case.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, I think that's some really good advice. If you know what schools you've narrowed down, use ED1 and ED2 as ways to do that. We also have a video up about if you should apply early decision or not. Definitely check that video out because it's very insightful, and we get into the definitions and what that means for you. Yeah, exactly. So another great resource to use. And then our last piece of coach advice is from Coach Kevin App. We actually worked on this piece with Huddle, and he is the men's basketball coach at Williams. And we asked him, what is your parting advice you can offer a recruit? And he said, enjoy the process. The things that will make your college experience are your teammates, your coach, winning, and your performance. And he said it's in that order. Being a college athlete, I can 100% say that is true for me. Your teammates are by far the number one factor, especially because they're most likely all going to be with you throughout your time at the school. Not everyone's going to decide to transfer in 1 year, but your coach is sometimes variable. Obviously, if a coach has been at a school for 20 or 30 years, you know that they're in it for the long haul. But at the same time, if the coach is newer, there's always a chance that they can switch schools, get fired, quit, whatever else it may be. So definitely keep in mind those factors. I think winning is something that people don't necessarily think about enough when they're looking at the schools. Look to see if they're, making it to the league playoffs, if they're winning, if they're making it to NCAAs, because yes, there are 460,000 NCAA student athletes, but a really small percentage of those people actually go on to the NCAA tournament, and obviously even smaller percent actually win the NCAA tournament. So definitely keep in mind those factors. If you're super competitive and you want to be a starting player all 4 years, maybe try and go for a team that's a little bit lesser. If you're an individual sport player, then you could still have the opportunity to go on to the NCAAs regardless of your team. If you play a team sport and winning is all you're worried about, then go for a team that's going to make it even if you're not playing. There's so many different factors, but definitely do some self-reflection and think about what is important to you. I think you can have that open discussion with your coaches, with your parents, with your guidance counselors, teachers, whoever you confide in on a daily basis. Ask them, where do you see me fitting in? What kind of school do you think I'll be a good fit at? Not just athletically, but also academically. That's another factor in things that obviously is super, super important. So.
Yeah, I think Coach App said it best in that response when he said, enjoy the process. It's a stressful process. That's why we're here, to hopefully take some of that stress away. But looking back at it, it was fun. I thought it's a very unique opportunity. Not, as Keirsten said, very few athletes, go on to play college from high school. So it's a very unique opportunity that very few athletes get. It's rewarding, it's stressful, but looking back at it, it was a very fun period. You had a lot of coaches contacting you, kind of pitching themselves to you, and at a young age, that's kind of a cool thing that you might not necessarily have had happen to you before or again. So, just enjoy the process, and I agree with what Coach App said, that there are a lot of things to keep in mind when you're going through the process. It's not just winning, it's not just where the school is. It's different for every person, obviously, those list of priorities, but there are a lot of things to keep in mind that, you might not think of at the start.
Yeah, totally agreed. And I think another huge point would be to just take everything into consideration, do as much research as possible, take all of this advice from coaches. As Nick mentioned earlier, we have a bunch of sports up there. So if you're really wondering about your specific sport, go on to Locker Room Talk, click on blog, then coach advice, and all of the pieces that we've done where we interview college coaches or even high school coaches will appear, and you could basically click through soccer or whatever other sport that you play and really see what coaches are looking for in that realm. We might even have the school that you're looking for, the program that you're looking for, the coach that you're looking for, which would be a really good fit because we ask them what showcases they attend and a lot of other questions too that are very intriguing and not too many people really know the answers to. So we're here to help. So definitely go to Locker Room Talk.
We got one question here
Sure.
from Aunt Danielle. So my Aunt Danielle asked if did you use an outside agent advisor to aid in the process? I personally did not. There are a lot of resources out there to use if that's something you want, starting with Locker Room Talk. But I didn't. I used one showcase that I went to created a highlight film for me, so I was able to send that to coaches. But other than that, I kind of, with the help of my parents, I kind of did it on my own. I reached out to coaches on my own, put together, my resume. Obviously, the film was filmed for me, but other than that, I kind of did it along with my parents, which, some people can handle, some that don't. Like, I was lucky enough to get started early enough in the process, had, a lot of support and help from my parents, from my guidance counselor, so I was fortunate in that regard. But there are so many resources out there, starting with, like I said, our website, Locker Room Talk, that will help you, whether it's in the recruiting process, just the admissions process, financially. There's just so many things out there that whatever you need help with, there's places to find it.
Yeah, I didn't use any outside sources either. Not to say that I, looking back, wish that I kind of did, because I didn't know much about the recruiting process and what it was like. I did, like Nick said, go to a showcase, Tim Donovan showcase for tennis. He has a couple. I specifically went to the one at Yale, and he made the highlight tape for us, and that's what I used to send out to coaches. And I also went to like camps and stuff, but as far as like having guidance throughout the process, I did not. But again, like Nick said, Locker Room Talk is here for that, and there's so many other resources that are here for that. So definitely don't discourage it, but it's really up to the person and the family and what you're looking to do with your college athletic career. So again, don't forget to rate your coach at lockerroomtalk.com if you are a college athlete. If you are a high school athlete or a parent or a coach or a guidance counselor, an AD, or involved with the recruiting process in some sort of way, check out our blog. Go see what current and former athletes have to say about their college coaches so you can stay more informed throughout your recruiting process. And that's it. We're signing out from Golf and Body, New York City.
Yeah. Check out our website again, www.lockerroomtalk.com. And
if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to comment after, and we will get back to you guys ASAP.
Yeah.
And
other than that,
have
thanks
a good
for
night.
joining. We'll see you next time.
Bye.